If you're teaching elementary statistics, math 1401 online, then one of the things that you have to do is you have to manually grade some of the questions on the midterm exam as well as the final exam. And so I'm going to walk you through the process for how to grade those particular assignments. So if you'll log in to D2L and then go into your course, at the top of the screen, you should have a widget that says grades. So I'm going to click on, not grades. There's a widget that says assessments. I'm going to click on the drop down arrow. I get a drop down box which says discussions, assignments, quizzes, rubrics, and self-assessment. I'm wanting to grade a quiz, so I'm going to scroll down and select quizzes. Then the list of all the quizzes that I have within D2L within the course are listed, and I'm specifically looking for the midterm. Okay. Now, for summer 2019, there were some issues, and so there's different versions of the midterm. You're going to need to make sure you grade a midterm for all the students enrolled in the course. If they didn't take the midterm, then obviously their grade is 0. It really doesn't matter where I start, so I'm going to start with the first one in the list, midterm exam, summer 2019, requires Respondus Lockdown Browser plus webcam. Okay, so I'm going to click on the drop-down arrow at the end of the quiz name, and I'm going to scroll up the menu list till it says grade, and I'm going to select grade. It's then going to give me every student who took the test. They should only have had one attempt. Okay, so for example, the first student is Annabelle Braden, attempt 1. So I'm going to click on attempt 1, and it'll take it just a minute. It comes up. I can see when she started it, how long she took. Okay, now it is set up for some auto grading, but not all of it. Okay, as you can see, it appears she scored 13 out of 150. I certainly hope she scored better, so I'm going to scroll down, and you can kind of scroll slow or fast. So for example, I see a big red X on the first question. And so I kind of glance at it to see, did she really get it wrong? And she did. So we leave it alone. We just keep scrolling. We scroll down. We say, and you really can scroll past the ones when you have a black check mark. You really only want to focus on the ones where you have a red X, because that implies that the student got it wrong. So question 5 here again has a red X. Again, she missed it, so she's awarded no points. But then when I get to question 6, let's see, a simple random sample is one in which the population is divided in groups and all individuals in a randomly, okay, that's not the right answer. It's a red X, so she doesn't get credit. Okay, so I keep scrolling. Okay, but when I get to question 8, it says if an event is certain to occur, then its probability is 100%. Now, that's actually a correct answer. The way it's programmed in the computer, though, we were looking for the answer of 1. But 1 or 100% is acceptable. So I really need to give her credit for that question. So we're in the score box. I'm going to click in the box, delete the 0, and put a 2, because that's the number of points it's worth. All right, the question 9, she got wrong. It's not called an equilateral histogram. Okay, so we won't give her credit for that one. It says a hair color. Okay, that's not the correct answer, so we leave it wrong. All right, then when you get to the next list again, notice that when you get to question 11, which deals with the qualitative frequency distributions, it looks like it's not auto graded. Okay, it was automatically graded as a 0, so you want to make sure that she got the right answer. Now the answer key does give you the answer, but you want to double check it against the table because there was some issues with that. So what is the frequency of blood type A? Frequency was 5. She put 5. So in the box, I'm going to click in the box and put 5. Then I'm going to move on to question 12. It says, what is the frequency of the secondary colored Skittles, which are green, orange, and purple, which means she should have added together green, orange, and purple. Okay, and it actually is 18. The answer key is wrong, so she did get it right. Okay, so I'm going to click in the score box and put 5. Okay, then I move on to question 13. It says, what is the frequency of red Skittles? Well, I know I should have a total of 25. So I can see that I have 7, 3 is 10, plus 4 is 14, plus 6 is 20. So I need 5 more, so the frequency of red is 5. Okay, so she got it right. I have to put 5 in the box to show that she got it right. Question 14, 25 Skittles were selected. What is the relative frequency of the yellow? Well, the relative frequency would be the frequency of the yellow, which is 6, divided by the total of 25. So it's 24%. They're asked to write it as a percentage. Again, the student entered the answer correctly, so I'm going to award her the 5 points for that question. Then I move on to question 15. What is the relative frequency of the least common blood type? This one gets a little tricky because it specifies blood type AB, which is not really the least common, but she answered it according to the question, which was 32%. It asks for the relative frequency, which she gave you, even though the answer key gives the frequency. There were some issues with the answer key. Okay, just be cautious, pay attention. Okay, so she got it right. We award her the 5 points. Question 16. What is the frequency of the blood type of a universal donor, which is O? Okay, again, it asks for the frequency, which would be 9. Again, the answer key is incorrect. It gives you the relative frequency. She got it right. That's worth 5 points. We add those points in. Okay, then we move on to the quantitative data section. It asks, what is the frequency of the third class? Okay, third class was 20. She got it right. We, again, have to award the 2.5 points. Question 18 is one I believe that is that will grade automatically. It does. She got it right. It is awarded the points. 19, what is the relative frequency of the fifth class? It is 14%. She got it right. We have to award those points. Question 20. What is the relative frequency of the fifth class? Again, it's 26% in this case. We award the points of 2.5. Okay, then question 21. Question 21 is probably the hardest one to grade because you have to calculate the actual statistics and then try to match them up. And some of this matching got really tricky. Okay, so if I were doing this particular problem, I would take those numbers and I'm going to enter them into my calculator as a list and get my answers and then try to match them up. Okay, so give me just a minute to get them into my calculator. Okay, now the handheld calculator gives you slightly different numbers than the free website, so you may want to do it both ways. Okay, or know that it's going to be a little bit off, especially with the first quartile and the third quartile. Okay, it's taking me just a minute to get my numbers into the calculator. I should have 30 numbers, and then I'm going to have it do the descriptive statistics for that variable. Okay, and I know that my sample size is 30. The third quartile, according to my calculator, is 73. Okay, the student answered question 15, which is 72. Again, allowing for the fact that it's a little bit off, she could have answered either number 8 or number 15. So she actually got the question about the third quartile correct. Okay. What is the sample mean? The sample mean for that data set is 70.9. It says round to one decimal place. So 70, again, I might be a little bit off, would be number 2. Okay, so she actually got the sample mean wrong. What is the 50th percentile? That is the median. The median, according to the calculator, is 71, which would be number 7. Okay, let me double check real quick and make sure that I've got my numbers in there right so that I'm not counting it correct when it's supposed to be. Okay, sometimes I double check if I feel like I'm got something in there wrong. 3 67s, 2 68, 69, 2 3 70s, and I should have 7 71s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, my eighth number 72, 72, 72, 72, 72. And I have 73 5 times, 74, and 2 75s. Okay, got my numbers right. So I just want to be sure. Okay, make sure that I'm grading it correctly. All right, so she did miss the 50th percentile. She got the 75th percentile correct. Okay. She got the range correct. 25th percentile is the same as Q1, which is 70, which she put number 2. Okay. So that is correct. Okay, so she got it correct, even though it counted it wrong. The median was 71, and she put number 14, which is actually 71, so that's correct. The first quartile was 70, okay, so she used the number 2 again, so that's correct. The sample standard deviation is 2.38. Okay, so she used, should be number 3. Okay, so she got that one wrong. The mode would be, I believe, 71. So she used 11, which is 71, so we're okay there. Even though it counts it wrong, it's all jumbled up. You got to really pay attention on this question. Max and min, she got right. Okay, so what is the sample variance? Okay, so the sample variance 2.38 squared would be 5.7. That should be number 10. Let me double check. Yep, that should be number 10. So she did get that one wrong. And then the interquartile range, which is Q3 minus Q1. So Q3 is 73 and Q1 is 70. So I got a value of 3. Okay, she indicated. Okay, so the interquartile range is wrong. So of that grouping, she had some correct, some wrong. She got 5 wrong. Each one in that set is worth 2 points. Okay, so she actually missed 5. So that's 10 points. 30 minus 10 would be she earned 20 points on that particular question. Okay, then looking at question 22, it said round your answer to 4 decimal places. However, it looks like the student wrote it as a percentage. Okay, so I would give credit for that, although they didn't follow instructions. It was 0.2266 or 23%. Okay, and that may be how you taught it. So I would give her credit, put the point values in the box. Let's see, 23, 81% chance. Again, although she didn't follow instructions, it is a correct answer. I would give her credit. Okay, selecting the graph on question 24, the graphs did not populate, so I automatically gave the students credit, okay, because they couldn't see the graphs, they didn't know which one to pick. Question 25, okay, is auto-graded. Question 26, again, the graphs did not populate. I automatically give them credit. Question 27, the student got incorrect, and I'm going to verify that. She was looking for less or greater than, okay, so that one was a little bit tricky. So, again, you can kind of do what you want. I would give credit because there was a typo in the question. Then question 28, there's a 47% chance. Again, she didn't follow the instructions, but I would give credit. 13% chance. 5, give her credit. Question 30, give her credit. Okay, when you get to 31, 16% chance. Again, she didn't follow instructions, but she got it right. 32, the graphs didn't populate. Give her credit. Question 33, she got it correct. Give her credit. Question 34, you get into the inverse norm. She got it right. Give her credit. Question 35, you want the lowest 1%. I'm going to confirm that the answer is what it says. So using my calculator, I'm going to do the inverse norm with the lowest 1% with a mean of 113.8 and a standard deviation of 10.8, and it should be 89. So she did not get it correct, so I put 0 in the score box. 36, it appears she got it correct. 37, she got it correct. 38, she got correct. 39, it appears she did not. Again, the lowest 1%. So I'm going to double check myself again there, make sure I don't have a typo. Lowest 1%, mean of 100, and a standard deviation of 15. It should be 65. The student is incorrect, so she gets 0 points. Okay, when you get to the very bottom, okay, after you've graded all 39 questions, you have to press save and close. And it will automatically retally them. And so now it appears the student scored 120 out of 150, which is much more reasonable than the 13 that she had to start with. Okay, so let me walk through one more. Okay, so I'm going to do Shelby Chapman. Click on attempt for her. Let it open up. I'm going to begin scrolling down. Okay, the 5-number summary is the minimum, first quartile mode, third quartile, and maximum. That's false. She got it wrong, so she gets no credit. I keep scrolling. The next time I see a red, ideally a sample should represent the population as little as possible. Again, that is false. Okay, so she got it wrong. She doesn't get any credit for it. Frequency distribution, it's called the frequency. She didn't get it right. Question 7, her fill in the blank is not correct. 8, she got right. 9, 10 is correct. And then we get to question 11. Then I got to start paying attention. The relative frequency for yellow Skittles My relative frequency should total to 100. So if I add up the ones that I have, I get 96. So there's 4% missing. So that would be the value for yellow Skittles. It's correct. So I award credit by putting a 5 in the score box. What is the frequency of blood type A? Frequency should be 7. That is correct. So I award credit. 25 Skittles. How many are red? Again, if I total up what I have, I can see I have 20. And so I need 5 to make it a total of 25. It's correct. Award the student the 5 points. Relative frequency of green Skittles is 28%. It's correct. So I'm going to award the 5 points. Okay, what is the frequency of the yellow M&Ms? Again, I'm supposed to have 20 M&Ms. So I have 6, 12, 14, 18, and I need 20, so I'm missing 2. So the frequency of yellow is 2. It is correct. So I put in the 5 points. Okay. Then we get to the qualitative. Watch the numbers. Okay. It's correct. Once you get in the rhythm of this, it'll go reasonably quick. Okay, question 18. What is the relative frequency of the 5th class? It's 14%. The student got it correct. I award the 2.5 points. Sorry about that. The relative frequency of the 5th class, I think that was where we were. Let me double check. Yep. Is 22%. Student got it correct. Award the 2.5 points. Okay, 56% passing, let's see, would be 70 or better, so it is 56%. Student got it correct. Award the 2.5 points. Okay, then we get to the list of data, and again, this is probably the one that's the hardest to grade. You have to enter the data into the calculator. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Give me just a minute. Okay, there should be 50 scores. Okay, so my sample size is 50. Okay, then I'm going to run the stats. Again, I'm using my calculator. All right, so the 25th percentile, which is the same as quartile 1, would be 66. So if I look down my list, he put 75. Okay, so that one is wrong. What is the sample variance? Okay, my sample variance would be 196, which is answer 9, so he missed that one. Third quartile, I'm just going to double check. Third quartile was 87. They got 86. Again, it's a little bit different depending on which calculator you use. Okay, the range would have been your max minus your min, so that's 48. You got that one correct. Interquartile range, is 11. That's correct. Maximum was 98. Minimum was 50. All right, what is the 75th percentile? That's quartile 3. I got 87. Okay, he put 86. I'd have gone with 86, so it's wrong. Sample standard deviation is 14.00, which is number 3. Okay, so he got that one wrong. He's mixing up the standard deviation and the variance. Okay, sample mean was 75.86. Okay, so they put number 2. Let's see. Yep, when you round it to one place. Median would have been 75. They got that one right. First quartile would have been 66. They used 8, which is 48. Okay, so that one's wrong. The mode, I believe, was 85. 1, 2, 3, 4. It occurred 4 times. 66 also occurred 4 times. Okay. So 85 and 66. Okay, so what do we get for the mode? The mode, they were listing as 85. Oh, wait, let me go back up here and check. 85. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, so it was 85. Okay, so it should have been number 10. Or excuse me, number 10. So he missed that one. 50th percentile would have been the median of 75. So he missed that one. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He missed 7 of those questions. 7 times 2 is 14. 30 minus 14, he earned 16 points. Again, that's the one you got that's going to take the most time to grade. All right, then looking at question 22, they did not get it correct. They're nowhere close. So we put 0 for the score. They picked the correct graph. It gave credit. For question 24, it did not populate the graph. I automatically gave them credit. Question 25 is incorrect. So they get 0. Question 26 is also incorrect. So they get 0. Question 27, they got correct. Question 28, they did not. They get 0. Question 29, let me double check it, make sure. They should have been less than 100 or greater than 130, so they needed the tails. Okay, so they missed it. They did not get credit. 30, they got credit. 31 is incorrect, so they get 0 credit. 32 is incorrect. They got 0. 33, the graphs did not populate. I automatically give them credit. 34 is incorrect. They get 0. 35 appears to also be incorrect. I'm going to double check it. They were looking for the 68th percentile with a mean of 6.3 and a standard deviation of 2.1. It should be 7.2. They are incorrect, so they get 0 points. Question 36 appears to be incorrect as well. You want the 80th percentile. Again, I like to double check to make sure that I didn't have a typo. Should be 26. They missed it. So they get 0 points. Number 37 is incorrect. 38 is incorrect. And 39 is also incorrect. Okay, so I mark those with no credit or 0 points. Once I'm finished, I click Save and Close. And again, originally the student was at 26.5 and now they're at 80.5. Okay, now, once you finish grading them all, you'll need to take these scores and put them into the grade book, because you have 2 or 3 different columns labeled midterm exam. You only need one column. All of the midterm grades need to be in the same column. So for Annabelle Braden, I'm going to close this out. I can see Annabelle Braden, her score was 120 out of 150. So I'm going to go to the grade book by going to grades. I'm going to scroll over to I would put them in the midterm exam 2 column. And so instead of having 5.5, I would put 120. And then work from there. So that would be her score. Then you want to make sure you save it. Okay, just like you save anytime you've entered grades. And it should be correct. Once you get them all graded, if you want me to look and make sure you've done that part, get them entered in the grade book correctly, you can let me know and I'll go in and look.